Welcome, Hawks fans. A win's a win. And at Marvel
Mm-hmm.
Stadium, at this point of the year, 4 points was quite important, and the boys got it done. Chol celebrates with his 100th with a bang. Mika and Newcomb dominated. Impey was prominent, and Battle made the booze worth it. The 20-point victory over the Saints sees the Hawks move to 11 wins and 5 losses for the season, currently in 5th spot on the ladder. And we're pumped to go over this with you tonight. So I'm Matt, joined by Lauren. How are you?
Yeah, good. I mean, as you said, it was one of those games where I think we probably will forget it pretty quickly. You take the 4 points and you move on. And at the end of the year, you probably look back on it as not one of the best games or one of the worst games. So, as you said, got to take the 4 points. It was crucial to get the win for our, finals chances. So, had to get it done, and we did. And it wasn't the prettiest of games, but games coached by Ross Lyon aren't often pretty games. But a lot to chat about. I feel like, some superstar performances, not only from our team, but from the opposition team as well.
Will that be on Ross's tombstone, do you reckon? Something along those lines? Not, not,
I
not that
guarantee
pretty to
it.
watch. Defense, something? I don't know. Anyway, Ross the boss didn't quite get it done. Made it such a grind. And it was, look, I was grateful for that 5-minute patch in the second quarter when we got a bit of a spark. But let me welcome some of these fans. So Fred, Tommy, Peter, Con, a lot of the regulars. Welcome, one and all. Kerry, it's good to have you all ready for a chat. Sean, Nick, welcome. So that was a really important game. You can't, as much of it, it was maybe a grind and maybe not the greatest to watch. I just was stoked to get that one, and then to see, Sydney get up. Probably gives us that little bit of breathing room too. We've got to keep lifting, and sort of Sam touched on it a little bit in the press conference, to just to be up there and playing against the best teams. We've got it all laid out in front of us now, so we create our own destiny. Hey.
Yeah, exactly. And as you said, we've got some tricky games coming up. Definitely next couple of weeks are important. Flying over to Optus isn't easy at the best of times, and especially when you're playing a Freo team that's going to be hungry after a close loss. I think it's an interesting time of year where we could really start to get rolling. I mean, we've won 4 in a row now, with some really good wins in there as well. So, teams that do end up going on to be successful in the finals normally go on a bit of a run this time of year where they win a few in a row. So if we can keep building and keep going as we are and getting those wins, then you take it. But as you said, Mitchell always talks about how we're not the finished product, and you don't necessarily need to be at this time of year, but starting to get closer and closer to the end where it's like, okay, we probably need to get our butts into gear a bit and not let someone on the opposition team have 43 disposals. But we'll get to that soon, I'm sure.
We will. And there's some good comments building up. So keep them coming, your questions and your thoughts. In preparing for this, I was thinking it's starting to feel a little bit like late last year. Yes, it wasn't the big run of consecutive games, but just that feeling of momentum and wins and just notching them up, and sometimes winning ugly. I'm like, kind of feels like it's starting to click, and we've got those boys that's just coming back from injury, and Kelsher and Mitchy Lewis in Box Hill, both 3 goals. So it's sort of like, maybe we'll touch on that a little bit. But all right, what have we got from the fans? Let's do the rounds here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a few comments coming in about the midfield at the moment. That was, if we're talking about concerns from that game, I mean, Nuke played all right, but he's, only getting the 22 disposals, probably not enough as your number one midfielder. Obviously, normally Daisy is that number one midfielder, and he's a very strong second. So you can only expect so much. But would like to see a bit more accumulation from Nuke. But we just had a pretty rough day in the midfield after the last couple of weeks going well in there. So interesting how that works when Saints aren't normally touted as what, they're actually known as one of the, more average midfielders in the league. So for us to get beat up reasonably easy around there, especially with Meek dominating as he was.
I know.
Interesting to note, and I'm sure that'll be looked at training.
And the
during the
Hawks
week.
highlighted that I think that was the club record for hitouts.
Again, didn't he already set it this year?
He's just topped it by one. So he's had an absolute blinder, Miki,
Wow.
as far as just that dominance. And it's look, his form. He's still. Is he flying under the radar still in the league? I'm obviously biased. It's hard to sometimes remove the emotion, but it's 59 hitouts. My goodness, if you want to be giving your midfielders a good supply, look, he's that body in there too that does a whole lot more as a ruckman. He's not just the tap and my job's done. He gets things done. Usually, I don't know the league averages, but his clearance work is generally pretty good as well as a ruckman. So it's and fair enough. He's in there a lot, so he's going to probably odds are that he'll get a few. But where do you see him? I'm interested in the fans. Is he top what in the league, ruckman? Top 4, 3, 5, just 2. I've seen it thrown around.
Yeah, I think definitely a little underrated in terms of league wide. I think us Hawkster fans know what he does for the team, and Rowan Marshall is one of the known as one of the better rucks in the league. Someone else who's probably in that top 5 or so rucks. So yeah, for him to get dominance over him for most of the game, it's says a lot for Miki. And we've got to think how far he's come. He wasn't even getting games at the start of last year, and now he's in and he's a mainstay. And very, very important to this side.
Yeah, Marshall 29 hit out. So by comparison, so Miki's 5 clearances this week. It's solid. It's solid. So I would have expected more from the midfield with that amount of hit outs. But regardless, sometimes I'm still not understanding. When Day's in there, I think we can be confident of bringing it out of the midfield. When Wiz is in there, I'm getting a growing confidence of that. I like seeing Warple back in there, a bit of blocking between he and Nuke, and maybe it's just that familiarity again. And Nashi, that it'll click again. I'm confident, but we're just some games the opposition midfield get their hands on it first, but we still win the overall ball out of the guts. So it's interesting. I think it's team by team, but maybe that's a tactic. I don't know.
I think talking about the midfield, Brett's probably on par here when he says Warple was rusty. I mean, only I believe it was the 15 touches for Warple, which is well under what you would normally expect for him. 14 touches for Warps. So yeah, when it was going through the midfield, he wasn't having as much of it, and maybe turning it over a bit more than I would expect from Warps. But as he said, you can't expect the world first game back from injury. So hopefully, as you said, it needs to take a while to click again, and it's going to be the same when Daisy comes back. Hopefully in round 20 against the Carlton Blues, which is going to be a massive game. And when, as you said, it's going to take a while for them to get back into the swing of things together. But if they stay fit, and we knock on wood that midfield does stay fit, we can take it back up to the level that we saw end of last year, start of this year.
Yeah, Warp's 10 contested possessions, 115 metres gained. So I think he had a bit of an agenda in the midfield, just in that clearance work. He wasn't trying to boot it, but his disposal efficiency, 42, 43%.
Yeah.
It's only up from there. So, all right. Midfield, we have to touch on that Newcomb to Wiz. That was nice, straight out of the guts.
Yes.
It's just Nuke. I love him, absolutely love him. That cannon that he calls a leg. It's sometimes it is so good, and sometimes I'm like, what? Hold on, big fella. Did you focus before? Did you set the crosshairs before you fired that cannon? Because he did another cracking one. Just who did he hit up? I think it was in the 3rd or 4th quarter. It was just had steam coming off it from the boundary into Chol. It was. That was an absolute beauty. But I mean, wow, that midfield. That's where Daisy does give us just that little bit of class. So.
Yeah, exactly. I think hopefully we might shift some things around now. As you said, we didn't believe there was 4% CBAs for Watson, so that's probably one one CBA, I think. We split it over a few more people than we normally do. We normally just have kind of the big four and then a couple else getting, 20 to 30%. But yeah, we split it over a little bit more than usual. So yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if that's still kind of a work in progress, whether they're thinking of, moving more players in there. I feel like we used to see Maury in there a lot more than we have recently, which is interesting. For someone out of form, you think you'd want to get him on the ball, but we're not seeing it as of recently.
Yeah, it's there's a comment there on depth. I don't know. It'll be interesting just watching. It's just the opposition now has to work out who they do need to target. If as Warp finds a bit of form again, Nash will get back to his, bashing, blocking best, and I think it's going to click. Just quietly confident. So, what do we got? What do we got from the fans? Yeah, I'll give that one, Fred. It did hurt. Loved seeing Maxi Hall do well after his Box Hill days. It's just like, it was our boy. It was our boy. And I think we had other priorities, just prior to Max's availability. So I don't know if we might have gone for a sneaky Box Hill boy in Maxi Hall, because we knew what we were going to get. And, Ross said in the presser, they had some words to him about what he needed to do to lift his professionalism and his standards, and he absolutely has. And then since then, he's just worked his butt off. So well done, Max Hall. And it's bittersweet seeing him have a cracking game. So
yeah, no, it absolutely was. But we love to see. We weren't picking him up, so if he's not going to flourish here, we wish the best for him and see him flourish somewhere else. It just hurts when it's against us. But as you said, and we've got a fair few half forwards. So would he have been getting a game with us? Probably, maybe not. So
Box Hill products, we'd love to see it. Hey, what about this one? Rama, he was taking a few marks last night. He slotted his goal and he's come off fairly early. What were your thoughts on that one, Loz?
Yeah, I thought Ramsden was doing okay. Better than how he started the game the week before at North. Like before he kicked his 3 goals, I thought he was about to be subbed off at that moment. But then he kicked his few and obviously couldn't be subbed off then. But yeah, I thought Ramsden was doing okay. But I think it gets to a point where Ramsden's shown a lot. He hasn't done much wrong, but we've got players waiting in the wings like Cal Shadir, like Mitchell Lewis, that are just probably fit this side a bit better and probably currently, when they're fit, have more talent at AFL level at the moment. And, Ramsden, I thought, did his job, exactly what he needed to do, come in and, obviously missed a few goals early in his first few games, but had a good game last week. So it's glad to see that. But yeah, I think it might be just time to go back to Box Hill for him. And we've got, two big tall guys down there that had some great games. So one of the two, I'm sure, will get brought up as well.
Yeah, sorry. I had a question that might tie in here with so Gunston leading our goal kicking.
Yeah.
In the lead into finals, if the body's needing a little bit of a rest and that forward chemistry is seemingly coming now, all playing for each other, they're that selfless forward, ethos that the Hawks have had so many times in successful teams. You can see it starting to come through now, that knowledge of each other. Do you give Gunners, or do you think he needs a week? Because I don't necessarily think he does, but he knows his body, and he thought he was Superman last week. He was flying for a mark, and I think he got a bit of an extra lift and come down hard, and I think he's enjoying his footy, so he's probably going to play through a bit of pain. But what do you reckon, Loz? You're a big fan of Gunners.
Yes, big fan of Gunners. So it's been, the highlight of the season so far has been the resurgence of Jack Gunston. And we did have the bye only 2 weeks ago, or 2 or 3 weeks ago now. So it's not like he might be begging for a rest after he's played 10 games in a row or something like that. But potentially when you fly over to Optus, over to Perth, and it's a long, it's not just an hour up to Sydney or an hour down to Tassie or anything like that. It's a long flight. And when you're an older guy, it probably takes a little bit more toll on you than it does some of the younger blokes. So I wouldn't be surprised if I saw him rested this week, but it doesn't look like he needs a rest. He's not running out there and not having an impact. He's going out there kicking multiple goals every single week. So, and Wilkie was one of the better opponents he would have had in the last couple of weeks as well. So to do that on him, I know he wasn't on him like the entire time, but there was periods where, he was able to slip away from him. And I wouldn't be surprised if he got rested, but I think he could stay. But as you said, we've got some guys waiting in the wings that are definitely AFL caliber. So they could replace him for a week and see how we go.
I reckon you've hit the nail on the head there. I reckon they will give him a rest this week, just not for anything other than just the travel and what the toll it can take on a aging body. But looking ahead, Tassie, Melbourne games, we go to Adelaide. It's a short flight, but Brizzy in the last round, 24, we might need him to fly up to Brisbane.
Absolutely.
Maybe they've put another forward in. Like, it's an interesting few weeks. Anyway, I don't know that he needs to have the big comeback tour to Brizzy and show him what he's made of, because I think he's doing all right, just shy of three goals a game at the moment. So they can look on the Coleman ladder and see where he is.
Yeah.
All right, what have we got? Chris, I did quickly look it up. Nashi was third with contested. We had Newcomb on 15, Meek on 14, and Nash 12. What else we got?
I think I saw a good comment up here. Yeah, about Gunston and Scholl both top 10 in the Coleman. I mean, I feel like we haven't had that for years. We've been spreading our goals around quite evenly over the past, 5 or 6 years. So to have two guys, in the top 10 at the moment, obviously there's that stupid thing where they haven't, where there's one team that's played two teams that have played a less game. But regardless of that, to have those two guys going so well, and maybe kind of unlikely characters to be up there from what you would expect at the start of the year. I mean, we knew Chol would do what he would do, but to play at this level for this long, and for Gunston to have his resurgence, I think it's pretty awesome to see that, and it shows that we're slowly getting better and more. Those top teams always have high stat leaders, and when we were in our premiership eras, we had those big goal kickers each year. So it's good to see that we're returning to that.
Yeah. Sorry, quick midfield comment. There was something on Mackenzie here. Just not the steadfast, I guess, confident mid that we've seen. Just he's been super clean in the lead up to sort of him and Wardy at the start of this year, and Mackenzie was looking very good. So hopefully he did have 14, 3 inside 50s. So he's probably getting a little bit of outside ball because he wasn't clearly in the mid as much. But I do like when the ball's in his hand and he's looking confident. So no, it sort of ties in with Sam Mitchell after in the presser mentioned. Someone asked him around, are you glass half full or glass half empty? And he used the example. He said like both, but he said as far as the Hawks, glass half empty, I don't understand. 42 inside 50s. We're averaging 53 for the season. So to be 11 less, it's a little bit of probably a credit to the game plan of the Saints and them executing on it. But anyway, passing observation. I
think it's one of those ones where it's really, really tricky to look at how you play. You can look at everything negatively, you can look at everything positively, and either way, it's probably not the right way to go about it. So I trust the heads there at the coaches' boxes to pick out what they need to work on and what should be praised. But as you said, low number of inside 50s is not sustainable at all. I mean, last year, GWS, I'm pretty sure, were one of the most accurate, most efficient teams going inside 50. And look what they went out in straight sets. So, it doesn't bode well for finals if you're kind of winning off high efficiency game style. Same as when we were playing well at the start of the year when all of our backline was kicking at 80%. and then that drops off and we start looking a bit poorer. So we want to be, performing well based off a system and not off pure talent, which
Correct.
Mitchell highlighted in his press conferences as well.
Yeah, I mean, and then you've got Henry Huswaite, Finn McGuinness, still gunning today with disposals. I think for the season they're in their 30s for when they're down at Box Hill. 32 nearly for Huss and 30 for Finn. I mean, they play a different role when they go down there.
Yeah.
Both killing it with tackles and clearances. Huswaite's averaging 10 clearances a game.
Yeah,
and Finn,
I know
8.
they've been talking about him as a potential. Now I don't. Is it the JJ Liston potentially? Maybe someone in the comments can let me know what the Brownlow equivalent is in the VFL. If Huswaite keeps playing games there, lots of commentators are talking about how he's potentially a chance for that medal. That is how well he's playing down at VFL level, which it's unfortunate that it hasn't yet been able to be converted to AFL form, but sometimes that can take time, or sometimes it even just doesn't happen. You can be the best player in the VFL and you just don't work out at AFL level for any one reason. So yeah, I'm hoping for Huss's sake and the potential I see in him that won't be the case, and he'll come in when the time is right and he'll star as I would expect. But I think, as he said, we've got that depth piece that we've been talking about a lot this year, and it shows when Box Hill have another massive win today, still a game clear on top of the ladder, plus a decent chunk of 32%. 13. What is that? No. 12% above the next best team. So they're having a good time down there. I mean, it was quite close at 3/4 time again, as it has been over the last couple of weeks, but just a massive quarter in the last from Box Hill. They know how to put a game away, which is a good thing. Maybe I can't say the same for the AFL team as of this week specifically, but we love seeing what they're up to, and we've got this perfect channel to elevate players that deserve it and potentially send some guys back who maybe are out of form.
Yep. On that note, suggestion from Tom, Beast from the East, Cody Anderson. Look, I'm excited by the prospect, and we'll try and just whip around for a few of these questions because there's a real diversity of what you're putting through in the chat. 5 clearances today, 23 disposals, 5 tackles. I think as we're trying to come into finals, I don't know that we're going to be blooding a whole lot of new ones. Tom, it might be next year, as much as we'd like to probably see another bull in there at the AFL level, but we'll see. Sarong, another brilliant game, 27 disposals, 10 marks. He's got to be right up there as well as one of the better players in the VFL this season. So
absolutely.
Yeah, he's not seemingly done a whole lot wrong when he's come up. But quick one here from Peter. Marbs Crumb.
Yeah. Charlie's just does some things that you think a big tall guy like him shouldn't be able to do. So yeah, I mean when he's on, he's one of the better players to watch in this side, that's for sure. And it's good to see he's had more on games this year than off games. So love that for Charlie, and congratulations to him for playing his 100th game. It's taken him a while as he's gone kind of through from club to club, but it's good that I'm hoping this is his final home and he can have some success with us over the next coming years.
It's pretty rare. I think Chris was telling me, saw a stat. There's not too many players that have notched up 100 games across 3 clubs, because by the time you get to your 3rd club, if you're doing about 30 at each club, you kind of, at that point, clubs are looking at you in a certain way. So, but he's firing, which is great. So, Kerry's got Battle getting a bit booed, and the boos were coming through stronger at the start after that good tackle. There's no love lost there. It's just, it was in the white lines. I didn't mind it. I think it was Mason, wasn't it, that he tackled, and then the Hawks recognised that the Saints were making a bit of noise and got behind Battle, and I think he's a bit of a cheeky man. I did see on Insta that
I did see that as well. I did see. Yep.
if you're not on Instagram, but Josh Battle, he posted a few images of himself, but he just said that was fun and tagged the Hawks. So
Yes.
clearly enjoyed a bit of a win against his old mob.
Yep, absolutely. Good, yeah.
A little bit cheeky.
Absolutely, a little bit of cheek from Joshy there, but no, this is what you wanted to see. I talked about it with Chris last week about when a player plays their old side in the first game or in games to come, they can either, shy away from the contest and get a bit in their head about it all. They want to prove a point and play their best. And yeah, Battle definitely was one of our best on ground that night.
Yep.
And I don't know, maybe we should get people to boo him more if he's going to play like that every time they do it.
Well, but Barris at the start was just phenomenal. It just was marking
set us up
everything.
early.
And then, sort of faded out of the game. And Battle, I think, and Sam Mitchell talked about that as well. It's just, Battle sort of took it up from that point onwards. Sis probably finding his groove again. I think he had hip surgery, didn't he?
Oh,
a little procedure?
Yeah, minor procedure, I believe, on something to do. Yeah, I haven't been able to keep up with that fully, but it didn't sound amazing. He didn't look back to the Sis we know and love, but you wouldn't expect that first game back.
Just to see him out there, amazing.
After see him out there,
minor procedure, but still 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later.
Yeah, I think hopefully Sis just needs some time, or maybe it might end up being where this season just kind of got ahead of him a little bit and he regroups over the break. But I trust this to come right when it's time. I mean, he's the captain after all, and he's they don't pick captains for no reason.
Yep.
He's got those characteristics that I think he'll want to get back to what we expect from Sicily towards the end of the year. And it might take some time because he has kind of been out of form the whole year. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, he's not the only one. This is what I keep coming back to after every game, is the fact that we still have I would say majority. Yes, there's maybe 5 or 6 that have significantly improved on last year's season, but there's quite a few that are definitely down on last year's performance, which is interesting. It's a good thing because they can come good and we can get even better. And to be 5th on the ladder or whatever with half our side not playing as good as they were last year, or towards the end of last year, it's interesting fact. But it also is a little bit concerning. Was it like, okay, were they just running off fumes last year and they can't get up to that level again? But
I would ask to that. Go on.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say it's probably too early to answer those questions. That's probably something you need to look at over not just this season, but the start of next season as well.
Yeah, so I ask a question to that. Is it down on form, or have we got a changed game plan now? So they're playing a different role. And so what statistical output or the way they may feature and get the ball, if it's Massimo, streaming by, getting that outside ball, it's just different ones. More 20 and 2 goals. It's maybe there's a slight change in role here rather than necessarily being down. I'm not saying that they're flying, but that's my suspicion. Even just looking at that kick, I can see some different changes in the structure. It's all moved to that side. Everybody, it's like. And then they tempted, hey, we're going to kick out to that fast break footy. No, we're not. It's like, but overloading it that heavily. It's interesting. Maybe that was just they knew the way the Saints structured themselves defensively for a kick out. Maybe we see that again. Who knows?
No, I agree. I tend to agree with Massimo specifically. I mean, I thought he had a pretty good game actually on Saturday night. But he not getting used as much, obviously getting more attention than he would have been last year. But as you said, there could be a slight shift in game plan that has made Massimo a little, not racking up as much ball as we'd like. But it's one I think we'll have to monitor over the entire year and probably early into next year to see whether it was a blip in how good they were, or maybe it was this is just an off year, or as you said, the game plan's still coming to fruition.
Yeah, well, of his 20 possessions, 19 were uncontested. So he's getting that outside ball last night, 644 metres gained, going at 80% disposal efficiency. So 16 effective disposals, tidy, and he's running both ways, 3 inside 50s, 3 rebound 50s. So pretty solid game from Mass. Absolutely. I think he's probably definitely had lesser games this year.
Yeah.
Probably was a bit of attention. So Jars and Amon also mentioned here. I thought Impey was had moments. He was just absolutely in his element. He just body control in the air. He just was directing traffic. Just absolute leader. Even that time he tried to love it. Just the leader through and through to try and save that goal. It was a goal in the end, but he's bowled over one of the Indigenous boys in the Saints, and he might have walked off if it was maybe an Indigenous fella, but he's turned straight back, the leader that he is, and he's picked up his brother, and it was great to see. So Jars just all class. I loved his game last night.
Yeah, for sure. I love Impey's been one that's been doing well this year. He's really quite benefited from when Hardwick was going forward, he had to kind of play that more lockdown role before Seamus Mitchell got added to the sides. We weren't seeing heaps of Jars, but now but it also meant that he improved his one-on-one defensive game, because I never thought that was really a trademark of his game, but now it's kind of, he's definitely improved that in my view. And now that Hardwick's back down there, he can play a lot more loose, a lot more free, and he's going to be really important over the rest of this season, or till Weddle gets back, because Weddle's the one with the run and carry, and Impey also was doing a bit of that, but now we might have to see a lot more from Impey because we've lost one of our key running carriers.
Yeah, these comments I cannot keep up. I'm fascinated with the Huss out. Sorry, I'm not Huss, Weddle out. What do we do there? Because I think, like Day, he's a one-of-one player for us, and he's very meaningful. I don't think you get anybody that brings that whole package that Weddle does, like strong pack mark, gets up very high, very athletic, the chase or the burst when he's just given the ball, and so he gives us defense and offense, and it's a booming kick, and he's just started to play within his own, I guess. He's just learned to play within his own limits to a degree, and rather than just blazing and just where he runs and when he runs, I'm like, he's just adding that much more. That I'm like, you get sprints and bursts from other players, you get long kicks, you did get some good aerial, but I don't think you get it all from anyone in our list at the moment like him.
No. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess we haven't been on here since that news dropped about Weddle's injury, and it was a day ruiner, wasn't it? Waking up and seeing that, I think, on the Monday, that he was going to be out for probably an extended period, and there is that potential there to miss the rest of this year. Because it's one of those ones you don't see coming, similar to the Daisy one, where it just hits. And I mean, there was rumors slowly floating around earlier in the day, but nothing confirmed. And then, bang, they hit us with that, and it's another player that's in my opinion, is in the top 5 most important players probably in our team. I mean, as you said, he's kind of irreplaceable in the sense that nobody has the traits that he has. But in terms of defensive ability, which is, obviously his running carry is his main thing, but his one-on-one work has also been pretty good this year. But that part, I think, can be replaced. We do have the Scrimshaws, and we've got Frosty even, we've got Sarong. Scrim had a decent game at Box Hill today. Sarong, another one who could come in and replace that defensive type. But so I'm not too worried about that in the sense, but it is going to remove some of the X factor about this side at the moment, which sucks to see, because you love seeing Weds go for a run and slot a goal from 50 out. And, he's also doing work in the ruck before Ramsden came into the side. So it's going to be interesting now if we expect that maybe Ramsden goes back to Box Hill this week. Who's going to play that second ruck? Is it back to Nash again in the second ruck? I mean, it has to be, doesn't it?
And has been a bit of Chol as well. Although, I don't know, it's just Chol's chase, his tackle. Does he expend more energy when he's ruck and he has to run around the ground a bit, and the leaping and all of that, rucking duties? I don't know. It'd be interesting to know hear from the horse's mouth. But Nash is strong enough to compete in there if we need it.
I mean, this is a good point. Nash, this is one of the rare teams that has the two strong double rucks. So coming up against Freo, we might need a bit more than Nash. But yeah, it's interesting because as you said, Chol goes and does the CBAs, but he doesn't go around the ground because we need him up forward. Maybe if we bring in Mitch Lewis and Deer in this week for say Gunston and Ramsden, if Gunston does end up being rested or something like that, maybe we could see Cholly do it a bit more around the ground, so we still know we have someone down in our forward 50 who can take a mark. But yeah, it's an interesting one because I remember, the days of Nash and the ruck I thought might be over, but potentially could be coming back now. I think, Lewis actually, not that if I see Lewis in the ruck, if he plays AFL and goes in the ruck, I'll be very, very concerned because of how injury prone that kind of role is. So I don't think that happens, but I know Lewis did do a little bit of it sometimes in the forward 50. Not, as I said, I don't want that to be, excuse me, I don't want that to be an option, but yeah, it's potential.
Yeah. Yeah, look, it's hard tinkering right now, isn't it? Like the back's feeling settled, the forwards are starting to feel settled. It's the midfield that probably is the 1 week, up, next week, maybe not quite as up. So I don't know. It's glorious having the depth, but the chemistry is going to be an important thing as we keep moving forward week after week. All right, I think I didn't mind just do thoughts. I've missed a stack of comments here. I apologise. CJ, I didn't mind parts of his game. I thought he gave us some really nice touches and bursts and defence. It was good. He's playing, again, within his means, I think, and just understanding his role. Harry Morrison, that mark was sensational up forward. And then he's just finished it off. Which just can't have, if you're a winger, you don't get too many shots at goals.
No.
Well, he doesn't. If you're booming, if you're Isaac Smith on the wing, maybe, sure. But just it was great to see Harry finish off a top mark with a goal.
Yes. No, I think, Harry had a great game on the weekend, just going a bit under the radar, does his job every week. I mean, he was kicking, as I said, last year, I feel like when he was in the side, he'd maybe kick a goal every week or two. But yeah, not having as much opportunity this year. Same with Mass, I guess, on the other wing. Yep. As you said, game plan, we must not be going to them for getting those goals, or they must not be playing as high up the ground. But love the mark, strong mark from someone who's, that's not normally their strong suit. And finish it off like that, good to see. And Harry's just been one that's played nearly, I think, every game this year.
I think he'd be very close. Yeah.
Yeah. So good to see that from Harry.
89% disposal efficiency. It's 4 inside 50s, 2 rebound 50s. The boys, 353 meters gained. Understanding his role, like you're saying, I think it's as under the radar is a really good thing. I was just looking for score involvement, so 7 as well, which is third highest. So and Mass was on 7 as well. So our wing is doing well. Maury on 8, Meek on 10. The big mountain. How does he do it? Very good, very good. There was a comment there a bit earlier. I missed. Going to miss who it was. The Watson flying for marks. Not sure about it. I mean, Charlie forgets that he's, as you said before, 6'7" or whatever he is, and just crumbing off the back of a pack. Thanks for coming. Wiz forgets that he's 5 foot whatever he is, and why not just go for it? I don't mind it. I think it gets him pumped. He always bounces up. I'm more worried about them ripping his head off, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Every week. I don't know how he doesn't have neck injuries. I think he must do Formula One driver, like neck muscle, strength and conditioning. But it's what do you? If he's got a perch, does he take it? Does he go for it?
Yeah,
Loz?
I don't know. I mean,
does it worry you?
It does worry me a bit that normally if he gets up there, he's got a long way to come back down. But I mean, I doubt the coaches are ever going to say stop going for it. I mean, remember in pre-season, he took that big mark and it was everywhere, not that there's heaps to talk about in pre-season, but it got even the non-Hawthorn fans, excited about the year to come from Watto. And I think he was, if he's going to fly, let him fly. I think might as well, as long as, he is meant to be the one that's staying down and crumbing, because his crumbing ability is so potent and so good. So I'd probably prefer him to stay down, but if he feels like he's getting, getting lined up for a big mark, well, who am I to tell him to not do that?
Yeah. Kaz, I like it. That under the radar, just, the underdog, are we going to go there? Chris Kelly's gone the big question here. Geez, you've got to go a fair few wins to get there, Chris. I don't know if you want to comment, Loz.
Yeah. I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? Like, that's what
capable.
We're all here for.
Focus on capable.
Yeah.
Of winning the flag.
Yeah, put me on the spot there, Chris. But I think, do I think we could potentially? There's a world where we win it. Absolutely. I mean, if we can somehow get on a run here and win a few of these games that I've kind of predicted us to lose, say against Collingwood or maybe a Brisbane at the Gabba, if we can pinch some of those games and potentially finish, fourth or something, I could see where we could get on a run, especially with Daisy coming back. And if Daisy comes back and is looking fit, and if Weddle's not out for the rest of the year, a lot of things have got to fall in the right spot. Do I think it's the likely scenario? No, I don't think it is. But coming into this year, obviously I thought it's the possibility, and, we want to strive for the most we can. But I think, we're still some of those kids have only had 2 or 3 seasons. So when they really start hitting their peak, probably next year and the year after, that's when I expect us to, be trying to get in that top 4, top 1, top 2 kind of spots. This year it's more kind of 4th to 7th where I would expect us to finish. So no, I think we're capable of doing it, definitely, if lots of things fall in the right position. We don't have to go and travel and play Gold Coast up in Gold Coast. Wouldn't love that. I don't think that matchup helps us. But yeah, if we get a nice run at it, I think capable for sure. But do I think it's likely? Probably not. But we just have to see. Like, in the middle of the season, I was like, literally 4 weeks ago, I was like, we're not going to make finals because we've just got smashed in these 2 games against these top teams. So, but now we've won 4 in a row and we've beat a few teams above us. So now you go, it's probably a bit more possible than what you thought. It's been a roller coaster, I reckon, this season.
Yeah, definitely different to last, and we'll see what we're made of in the next few weeks. But I just always believing, when Weddle went down, it was the first time I was like, only briefly, for a few minutes, it's like, I think our season might be shot with Weddle going down. I don't know. But it was like, have we got the adaptability in our game plan and the personnel to come in and just do the role and execute it was what was going through my head. But I'm like, I got back to, no, I think we're right. I think we're maturing, we're getting chemistry. And so I think we're capable is my short answer. Will we do it? I don't think so this year, but if we're in the granny, mate, just I'll be absolutely believing. So winning it is a lot has to go right. So I think, Loz, with what we've got on, look, fans, it's been a really good season to date. We have got a few more things coming with the Talking Hawks. We'd love you to just get on board with the different socials that we do. Follow us there and on YouTube, Twitter, X. If you're on X, you need to jump over to YouTube because that's where you'll be able to comment. There are so many comments going on here, and we're just in a spoiled spot. Loz and I have been able to pick and choose the conversation starters, and you'll have good conversations amongst yourselves. So I'm glad sometimes to see those get resolved. And that annoying Collingwood bloke before he's gone, so that's good. That was in the comments. So, but apart from that, we have really good chats here. So I think we might start to wrap it up, Loz, for this week. There's going to be the 6 points. Just listen to Tim and Liam if you love your podcasts and on the move, if that's your thing. They always have a good chat, those two boys. We'll have our MVP votes out, but check out talkinghawks.com for the latest articles. Let's go to next week and your predictions, everyone, for heading over to Freo. I'm going to have to plug my laptop in here while you take that, Loz. Go on.
Yeah, no worries. So it's going to be an interesting game for me specifically because I'm hopping on a plane for 10 hours at halftime of the game. So yeah, what I'm explaining, Matt, at halftime of the game, I'm hopping on a plane for 10 hours. So I'm not going to know the result for a little while, which I didn't realize which was happening. I mean, supposedly there might be Wi-Fi on the plane, but I'll try my best to try and see it. And but I'm looking even at the start of this year when I had the most confidence in how we were going, I always thought Optus playing Freo definitely top 8 chance, top 4 chance even. So I thought probably we don't get this one, we don't get this win. But yeah, I think I might predict us to maybe lose in a close one, maybe by 10 points. But I'd love to know if anyone in the comments knows the last time we went up to Optus and played Freo and won, because I feel like it would have been a long time ago. Like all the trips I remember over the last couple of years where we go, I guess, every second year up there, something like that. And yeah, can't remember in recent history us getting the win. But I would think, I mean, yeah, I'm more confident, I guess, than I was a couple of weeks ago. I thought, yeah, we've looked good against some of these, higher ranked teams recently. So I think definitely possible we get it done. And if we did, I think it's going to be close either way is what I'm predicting for this game. We might just get pipped or we might have a small win. But yeah, it'd be very, very good to get these 4 points. But yeah, Freo are going to be angry. They just come off a tiny margin loss. And I hate playing teams after they do that because they always just come out firing. And, we're not the best team when we have a lot of pressure.
Yeah. They've got an interesting run home. So us, Collingwood, West Coast. Okay. Carlton. Yep. Port, give us some grief. Don't know about Freo. They're 9th and 11th spots right now. And then Brisbane. And with the Doggies in the last round. So they've got a little bit of a battle on their hand to try and make the 8. This one is actually, it's almost a little bit like Hawthorn for them last season, where every game's going to count for quite a lot. So I think they're going to come out firing. And one less Gunston, someone else in. Yeah, look, I'm going to predict the Hawks by 6 points. I think it is going to be tight as well. And yeah, we can travel all right at times. So yeah, the conditions, if it's hot, don't know. It's we're in the middle of winter. Hopefully it's not going to be too hot and we can go all right over there. So I think it'll be an absolute cracker of a game. So if you're in Perth, turn up, take the brown and gold, go and make some noise for us all. What have we got? Hawks to shock them by 24, says Chris. Draw.
That'd be nice.
Draw. That'd hurt. Don't do that.
Well, would you take a draw? I mean, obviously you take it more than a loss, but
True.
It would give us that slight edge now that our percentage is reasonably average. It would be nice to have, those extra kind of 2 points to just really distinguish the teams. But obviously you want the win. Sometimes you have those draws where you feel like you won or you feel like you lost. So if it's a draw where you feel like you won, you take those 2 points, I think.
Totally. Well, look, and Sean's saying right, we probably need 15 wins for finals to guarantee it. So, look, we got 11. We're on our way. So hopefully we can keep notching up 4 more. Get to every game you can. Hawks fans are going to be in Tassie, where we're in Melbourne for a few. So we will enjoy the ride with you for the rest of the season. Oz, thanks for joining tonight, and everyone else. We might wrap it up right here, and have a good week. Enjoy the victory, and go the Hawks, hey?
Yeah, as always.